And so if you don't provide a story for them, you lose control of the narrative and what story they're going to come up with.
So one of your investigations led to a Hercules tire recall of defective Chinese-made tires after you pushed NHTSA to act. Walk me through how a personal injury lawyer ends up forcing a national tire recall, which is a pretty big deal.
That is one of the two proudest things I have in my career is I have a huge trucking company. I can't say who it is for confidentiality reasons, but changed their policy manual to prohibit something super dangerous that had killed two people in two different wrecks. And after a trial last year, and now hopefully those will never happen again. And this tire recall. So I had a case, one of the best clients I ever had. She lost her arm from right above the elbow in a rollover that was caused by a Chinese-made tire detreading. And when we got into the case, we found out that the tire set on the sidewall, and in the marketing materials, it has something called a nylon cap ply, which is a safety feature that helps prevent tires from experiencing tread separations.
Mm-hmm.
And during our case, they had actually recalled the particular tire that was made in our case. But in discovery, we learned that the Capital Precision Track 2, which was the tire in our case, in the exact same factory with the exact same design, they made the Hercules tire. It's just same tire, just a different brand name on it. And they had the same defect in that tire, but they hadn't recalled that one. And so didn't charge it the client, but I hired somebody that helped me contact the National Highway Transportation Safety Administration, submit a petition, and we ended up getting it granted and forced the recall of those tires. And, so that way someone else doesn't have to lose their arm or lose their life. I would much rather, money is great. And not that I'm a capitalist, I like making money. But one of the frustrating things about what we do is that money doesn't bring people back, and money
Right.
doesn't make a paralyzed person walk again or grow an arm back. And so if we can do something to save the next life, to improve safety, we always want to take those opportunities. You only get so many in a career, so when you get them, you got to take them.
All right. So you talk about casting your villain. I like the idea of that in trucking cases. What does that mean? And why is it the driver's employer and not the driver? Or how do you isolate?
Well, it's hopefully the driver's employer. You have to look at the facts of each case, and you don't want to just say, I have a can story and I'm going to tell in every case, because that's not true and that doesn't ring true.
Hmm.
What I've done, and it doesn't just apply in trucking cases, it's any kind of case, is human beings think in stories. And so if you just spit out a bunch of facts, the jurors are going to then filter those facts into a story in their own minds. And so if you don't provide a story for them, you lose control of the narrative and what story they're going to come up with. Then if you're not careful, it's going to be the story of the bad lawyer working with the doctor trying to make a mountain out of a molehill. So you got to really think about what the story is going to be.